This homeowner was fined thousands and thousands of dollars. Let's talk about it. Every time you're gonna do a construction project, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna need a building permit, right? Why? Let's get into it, right? Because 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to change some electrical. You're gonna have to change some plumbing. They're gonna change some walls, some framing, load-bearing walls, right? So the building inspectors will need to find out if you're building that house per codes, right? And remember, every 2 to 3 years, building codes always change, right? They're always upgrading. Everything, all the codes really come from Florida. If Florida gets it approved, New Jersey is gonna adapt it. New York is gonna adapt it. Nebraska and other states are gonna adapt it because Florida is a state that gets hit with hurricanes, winds, so many different types of storms. So they go through everything that needs to go through it. So if they can go through it, the other states adapt it. So this client decided to build an addition, right, over their 3rd floor. Generally, the #1 rule is you're gonna get out a permit, but before you get a permit, you get a contractor. Obviously, the contractor is gonna tell you what you need for the scope of work. Then you would hire an architect. The architect will draw up the plans. Then through the plans, the contractor will give you, the homeowner, the price of how much it's gonna be. In this case, it can be 100,000, 200,000, even 300,000 for a small addition, right? Then after that, you go to the building department, you put in the building permit, you put in the electrical, you put in the plumbing, the HVAC, which is mechanical, and fire. So you put all those permits in, right? So you can get finally approved. It takes 2 to 4 weeks before you're finally approved. If it's a bigger addition, it may take a month. So a permit is generally gonna be somewhere from $300 to $1,000, depending on the actual amount, $300 to $1,000, because if your addition is really, really big, and let's say the addition is $300,000, you're gonna pay over $1,000 for that permit. If you're thinking about doing an addition, you want the best trick out there, this is what you need to do. You need to be a neighbor, right? You go and knock on your neighbor, roughly about 5 to 6 neighbors right next to you, even behind you, and you tell them, hey, listen, I'm thinking about doing an addition, and you find out where their heart is and everything, and let them know, maybe bring a platter of cookies or something, or coffee, and tell them, you know, this is my idea. I mean, our house is a little bit small, letting you know it may be a little bit noisy. Why? Because you're preparing their mindset that there's gonna be construction for the next 6 months. So this client right behind me, they decided to raise their roof, right? But they did it without permits. That's a no-no, right? Especially a project like this. And one of their neighbors decided to call the building department here and said, listen, I think somebody's building here without any permits. You need to come by here. And the inspector came, shut down the whole operation, and guess what? They fined him thousands of dollars. Now he has to go to court, pay the fines, and on top of that, had to hire an architect and then hire a guy like me to redo this whole roof. Now we have to knock down that whole space that was built to its original form, to put it to its original form, then to submit new plans, and then to build it to the way he wants it. Why? Because the building inspector is the sheriff for every contractor. And if you're not following what the sheriff says to do, you're gonna get fined. And in this case, someone's going to jail. So now that they bring everything to its original form and they submit now new permits to build it the way they want, this is what happens. The building department will always punish you. And they're gonna take their sweet time. They're gonna move your folder all the way to the bottom, and they're gonna take their sweet time and may go through your application, deny it. They'll resubmit it, deny it. You're missing this, deny it, because they're gonna show you who's the real boss in their town, right? Years ago, when I was a young carpenter, and it was me and 2 other carpenters, my employees, we built a deck. It was in the town of Parsippany. We built a deck, and when we built the deck, there was an existing deck, and then we built a brand new deck. At that time, it was like a Trex deck. I got caught. Somebody called the building inspector. He came, He says, shut this down, get over to the office. I need you to submit this, whatever. And I'm like, oh, we got caught. So we had to stop the job. Guess what happened? Everything that I just said, they fined us. After they fined us, I got to the fine lowered, right? I was very nice to the, to the inspector. I told him I didn't know because I thought I was replacing with like and like. He knew, I knew. And after we got to build it, we got it passed, but they punished me. So that job stood in a standstill for about 2 months because they were showing me who's the boss, right? I learned. Did I learn? So this job has right now been on standstill for over 7 months. The moral of the story is file your permits. It's not that much. And be nice to your neighbors. And last but not least, don't cut corners. Keep watching.